Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's me, Kenan Jerome Floyd, with another episode of Dangerously Awkward. We're on episode number 5, and I would like to thank all 15 people that have been listening regularly to my podcast. If you haven't liked and subscribed already, you can follow us on YouTube at KJF Network. You can follow me on Instagram at Dangerously Awkward. We're also on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, and SoundCloud. On this episode of Dangerously Awkward, we're going to be talking about a subject that we kind of touched on in the last episode, but we're going to be continuing the discussion in this episode. We're going to be talking about race. Now, if I'm going to go ahead and put out a warning, some of this stuff might be offensive, it might be triggering, but I don't care because it's a podcast. So on this episode, again, we're going to be talking about race. So sit back and relax and enjoy this new episode, episode number 5 of Dangerously Awkward.
Racist motherfucker.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? Again, it's me, Kenan Jerome Floyd, and welcome to another episode of Dangerously Awkward. For those of you that are new to this podcast, what it's about is my vantage point of different issues, different things, different occurrences that are going on in the world from my unique upbringing. I grew up a Jehovah's Witness. I'm a former Jehovah's Witness. Was a Jehovah's Witness for 30 years. Now I am not. But, it's hard to shake some of the doctrine that you grew up with. So, I think I have an interesting point of view when it comes to social issues and things like that. So that's basically what I talk about. I currently live in Los Angeles. I'm trying to make it in Hollywood at the moment. I am a stand-up comedian. I am a writer and producer of content. Just recently, I had a YouTube video go viral, thanks to the Daily Wire, which I never thought I would ever say in my life. It's called Armageddon Harassed. You can actually go on YouTube and check it out on the Riot Act channel. We got more than 100,000 views. I don't know if that's viral or not, but I mean, it's the most views I've ever gotten. But on this episode, forget all that. On this episode, I want to talk to my good friend, who I've known for a few months. A very special guest on this podcast, Andrew Moncayo.
Yeah, close.
Oh, wait, how do you pronounce your last name?
I mean, yeah. We'll just go with Moncayo. I like how every time we go to, open mics, because, all the mics we go to are headed by, super Mexican dudes.
Yeah.
And they never get it right. And the only guy that got it right was over at Father's. And I'm like, this is, the whitest dude. And he said it with the
skinhead over in Orange County is the one that got it right.
He said it with the accent too. I'm like, damn, this guy is legit.
Well, how do you pronounce your last name?
Moncayo.
What did I say?
Well, yeah, just
Moncayo.
Moncayo.
Moncayo. I really try. Because I lived in the Dominican Republic for 10 years. I really try to I think I might overextend myself or over exaggerate, but I really try to pronounce people's names.
People just get it incredibly wrong sometimes. They'll switch even where the mics are introduced, they switch the A and the O. And it's Moncayo. I'm like, yeah. Can you read?
Is that even a last name? I mean,
I don't know. Google it. We'll figure it out. I remember one time my dad got mail. It was his name's Manuel, and we got a letter and it was addressed to Manuel Mohammed, and I was like, very inaccurate. That's the wrong type of brown person.
Was it handwritten or was it?
No, it was printed. It was someone typed out Manuel Mohammed. It had our address. I'm like, is there someone living here we don't know about?
That's just
race.
Funny. Damn, what was I gonna say?
Oh man.
Yeah. Andrew is Mexican. I'm black. No,
historically a friendly group.
I seriously try. I seriously try to be respectful of other people's cultures. That's why, since I don't speak Spanish that well, but I remember I was door dashing maybe a month ago, and the person that I was delivering to name was Cesar, right?
Oh yeah.
Cesar. That's clearly Cesar, right?
Yeah.
So I
mean,
go
either way.
I go into the restaurant and it's a white girl. I mean, they're real busy in this restaurant anyway. There's this white girl that's behind the counter, and I'm like, I'm here to pick up for Cesar, and she's like, "Oh, you mean Caesar?" I'm like, "No, it's Cesar. Nobody names their kids Caesar anymore."
I mean, it depends on
And
whoever...
Caesar's not even a name. Caesar is like a title.
That's true.
It's a title. It's like Christ. Like, no, you don't, like, it's like Jesus' last name wasn't Christ.
Caesar was a salad.
Yeah,
salad.
like,
Which was also made by a Mexican.
Julius Caesar was not, that wasn't his last name.
Yeah.
It was his title as ruler. Christ means anointed king. That's
Yeah.
why you say Christ Jesus or Jesus Christ. It's not his last. People are dumb.
Jehovah's Witness.
You're just randomly saying stuff now.
Jehovah's Witness. Like, you know all about Jesus and stuff. But it's like, I mean, yeah. That's why I hated being... Cause I used to be Catholic. And, like, I hated being Catholic because of, like... It was so terrible because, like, everybody that you saw, like, that was there, that was the most religious... were also, like, the biggest pieces of shit that I knew. Like, there's this one girl, and she would always... This is back when I was in, like, my catechism classes where I was, like, learning about... We didn't even do anything. All we did was eat pizza and hold hands. That's all we did the entire time. And then, like, we'd read the Bible for 5 minutes. And, like, all right, ready to go home? I'm like, oh, yeah. I don't want to do this anymore. And then, so there's one chick that I knew. She went to high school with me, and... whenever, like, someone asked a question, like, one of the teachers asked a question, like, about, like, God or some shit, and she'd always answer it, and she'd get it right, and then, but I'm like, why are you taking, like, so much pride in being religious? Like, she was also the same girl that got boys and girls banned from sitting next to each other on the buses because she was blowing some guy, and they're like, yeah, no, you can no longer sit next to boys on the bus.
It's a lot of that repression. She didn't know how to act.
It's like, all the sluts were from the Catholic
It's
school.
all your fault.
They're all from the Catholic school.
I mean, Catholic schoolgirl is like...
yeah, that's like a porn category.
It's a thing. So, Andrew, today we're recording this episode on January 13th.
Yeah.
And today we're 22 days, 20 hours, and 12 seconds into the government shutdown.
22 days?
Yeah, 22
Already?
days. 22 days. And
longest in history.
And you know what that means? That means a lot of people who have government jobs don't give a fuck anymore.
Oh, yeah, no. Why would you? You're not getting paid.
Like, this just popped up on CNN. A passenger carries a gun through TSA screening at Atlanta onto a Delta flight to Tokyo.
Well, Delta doesn't care anyways, right?
Well, I mean, I like Delta. I mean, I like Delta now because all I can afford is fucking Spirit Airlines.
Is it called Spirit because you might die?
Yeah, Spirit Airlines is so cheap. Like I flew on Spirit from New York to here.
Well, yeah, that's one of your bits.
Yeah,
in the show.
And fucking my flight was so cheap that my seat was the lavatory. Like my.
It's pretty good. You had some turbulence. You just let loose.
Yeah, it was like I had to get up when people came back. So I just want to go on a flight where I can get food for free. We used to used to be able to get food for free.
Yeah, this is back when you wore a suit to fly and like you had a seat and they gave you like a chicken dinner and they're like, how's your day, sir? And now it's just like, what do you want? Want some peanuts? No, we're all out.
You want some peanuts? You want some pretzels?
It's because like flying used to be like a luxurious thing and now it's like a sky bus. Like,
yeah, it's the what do you call it? It's
people wear sweatpants.
It's the mega Spirit Airlines is definitely the mega bus of the sky.
Yeah. No one cares. Like, yeah, I mean,
I've only like $1 to fly, but
that's so terrible.
But you have to pay to actually sit down.
It's like if you move your leg, that's another $15.
Yeah, you can't bring any luggage.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Like you're only allowed to bring like a small carry-on.
I feel like this is like,
and it's not even like the big carry-on, but you actually bring stuff.
This isn't a flight It's like not a flight you take if you go on a vacation. That's like if you're abandoning your past. And you're going to another place.
If you can't afford rent in Brooklyn, like, and then you just have to make a break for it. That's the type of flight you get.
It's only one-way flights.
But yeah, so TSA in Atlanta let a guy get through with a gun. And I understand.
Okay. Okay.
Because if you're not getting paid,
Who
you're not gonna
cares?
put your life on the line.
Even if I'm getting paid, I'm not gonna put my life on the line.
Well, I remember working at Staples. I worked at the Staples in Upland,
Mhm.
and every week we were having thousands of dollars of merchandise being stolen.
Jesus Christ.
Like $7,000 worth of printers. You know how many printers you have to steal for $7,000? So anyway, so we had this like team meeting, and all the managers are trying to tell us protocols
Yeah.
to prevent someone from stealing something. And this one guy, he raised his hand. He was like, excuse me, but you're not paying me enough to get shot.
Yeah. Why would
Like
no.
we're nobody is gonna put their lives on the line.
Even at JCPenney, they're like, yeah, just let them take the money. Like,
Yeah,
don't.
because I'm gonna go home. I want to go home to my family. I don't want to. Well,
Well, I remember one time I was working. I was like at the cash register at JCPenney. That's what I did for like 2 years, and it was early in the morning. It was like maybe like 10 o'clock in the morning or like 11 o'clock in the morning, and some dude was just buying some clothes or whatever. And then apparently there was a dude that was there earlier that was like looked like he was scouting the place out.
Mhm.
Like he was organizing, like he was in the Levi's section, and Levi's are pretty expensive. You know, they're like $60 for a pair of jeans. So he was like looking at the jeans he wanted, and he was like stacking up in a pile, and then he left. And he came back like an hour later. He just grabbed the pile and he just ran out the door. And I'm like, and like we have that little alarm. It's not even an alarm. It's like just some like very passive woman that's like, there's a security tag on your clothes. You should go back inside. So we just hear that go off, and then I see this dude and I swear to God, outside he had a getaway driver, and he like parked on the curb, car running. He jumps in, and the guy peels out and takes off. And the person I'm dealing with, they're like, "Are you gonna do anything about that?" I'm like, "No, that's not
Man.
my problem."
who plans a heist like that though?
I don't know, dude.
Like
He
it
stole
was
a lot.
planned. Like he had to have a conversation with another man.
He stole a lot of jeans, dude. He stole like a pile of this, and like jeans are pretty flat, so like it's maybe like 3 feet of jeans, and so that was probably like $400.
Damn.
Like that, he stole a lot of
He probably
of
He
jeans.
probably resold them. Where was this?
What do you mean?
What town was this in?
This is at the Montclair Mall.
He
right
probably
there.
he probably took them to L.A. and like sold them at a swap meet or some
He
shit.
probably sold them like on the street. He's like, "Who wants the jeans?"
Well, I mean, see, and that's
Yeah.
the thing. Like times are so tough now that people like I get it. Like that's why
I didn't care. I thought, I honestly, like, even like the customers were like, "What are you gonna do?" I'm like, "Nothing. That was awesome. Like that was like the coolest thing. If you're gonna steal something, make it awesome like that."
I wonder what cut he gave to the driver.
501.
Because he's like, we could go to jail for this.
Yeah, probably.
What is it that's going to make it worth it for you to help me steal these jeans from JCPenney?
He's like, "Give me one shirt."
give me one of those air press shirts, with the ones with the graffiti designs on it.
I want New York, and I want.
Give me a Spider-Man and a Nintendo Super Mario shirt, please.
I want Echo. Oh my God. Okay, back to the topic of race. This is one of the funniest things one of the funniest customer remarks I've ever had in my life. So, we have a lot of just like different like young person brands at
Mhm.
at JCPenney. We have Levi's, we have Vans, we have DC, we have Zoo York, and we have Echo. Okay, and Echo has it's a black dude brand usually, and this
Is Echo? Is that the one with the line over the O?
that's what's the one with one with the rhino. Okay,
Okay.
the one with the rhino. It's the shit you see like Ice-T wearing, and but like. This old white lady, okay, and she is very, very white, like extremely like, she's very white, and she comes up and she's talking about like she's maybe like 60 something maybe, so she's like old but not like too old, and she's one of those like very passive racists, because like she was talking to me and my coworker, and we're both Mexican, and she's like I'm looking to buy some new clothes for my grandson, and like he's around like I think he's like whatever like preteen teenager age, and he wants some new clothes like maybe Vans or DC. And she's like, and then she leaned into us and she's like, not Echo because he's white. And I'm like, oh my god, I mean, you're not wrong, but that's hilarious. Like that is the funniest thing because she wanted to keep it a secret that she said that. And it was so awesome.
Well, all right. So this whole concept of race, it's not new to me, but okay. So the whole concept of race is this for me. I'm for people that don't know, I'm an African American. If you can't tell by the voice.
Yeah, we both sound white.
No, but see, that's another thing too. That's another like racial
Yeah,
like stereotype. Whereas like if you speak a certain way.
it's true.
Well, when you think about the topic of race, like I never really growing up. My family did not introduce race to me.
Yeah.
I grew up in Alabama first and foremost, but I mean it's like I spent when I was I was a baby, so I mean it's like I spent most of my time with family, and the congregation we were in, the Jehovah's Witness congregation we were in, for the most part, was mostly African American.
That makes sense.
With like a couple white people in it, but I mean, I never, I'm saying that from thinking about it now. Like I never thought about it then.
Yeah, because I mean,
well, this is where I touched on race when I was a kid. I didn't know that there was different shades of black people. So I didn't know that. I didn't know.
I thought we were all.
And I remember. I think I was 6 or 7. And there, in our congregation in Alabama, there was a light-skinned sister, and she was married to a brother from West Indy.
Yeah.
So he was real dark, she was real light, and their kids were they were mixed looking. They were light-skinned, and even their hair was like naturally,
like straight.
no, naturally like blondish.
Oh, okay.
It was like curly blondish hair, right? And I remember someone was having a conversation with my mother, and because interracial marriage was illegal in Alabama up until recently. And I'm talking
Really?
I'm talking maybe the last 25 years. Like it was illegal.
Yeah.
In my lifetime.
That's crazy.
So someone mentioned that, and I said, "But wait a minute, so and so's married to so and so. How can they do that if it's illegal?" And my mom started laughing, and I was like, "What's so funny?" And she's like, "Oh, she's just light skinned. Like she's not white. She's light skinned." And I'm like, "Oh, that's a thing." And I can't really talk because my grandmother on my mom's side is light skinned, is super light skinned. That's why like I'm a little bit light skinned, a little bit.
Yeah.
Because like my grandfather is dark. I believe he was like West Indian. My grandmother was more light, was light skinned. And on my dad's side, my dad's light skinned.
Yeah.
And like his father was like darker. I mean, both my parents are brown.
Yeah.
His parents are brown. So, but like we're all like light skinned, basically. We're all light skinned except for a couple cousins that didn't quite make it. You know what I'm saying? No, just kidding. My mom's brother was
Just
dark.
for Reggie.
No, my mom's brother was dark skinned, so all his kids were black.
Yeah.
Were dark skinned. But I'm only saying that from my perspective now. Like like when I was younger and stuff, I never thought about it.
Well, you don't think about things like that when you're young. Like,
yeah, it's a concept that you're presented with in weird ways when you start asking questions.
Yeah. I mean, like, to me, when like differences of people I recognized when I was a little kid because of language. It wasn't even like because my best friend and my first ever best friend was in kindergarten. It was this black kid, and we did like everything together. We'd always like we would eat like our snacks and shit together. We'd play in the playground together. Blah 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 blah. And then the next year he was gone. I'm like, oh shit, what happened? What happened to Richie? I don't know. And then the next year, remember I had this girl in my class who was Mexican from Mexico, so she only spoke Spanish, or like she usually only spoke Spanish, and so she was in our class, but she was also in like one of the other classes that taught the Spanish like speaking kids, and that's the only reason I didn't think that we were the same people. Like I didn't think that we were like the same like. I thought that I viewed her as different because she didn't speak the same language as me, and I feel like that's more of like an American concept of like I mean not really like American. I feel that's like a very differing like national concept of different nations. If you don't speak the same language, you're different. And like if you like when you're a kid, you identify with that because if you don't speak the same language, you can't communicate with this other person and learn about who they are and learn about like where they're from, what they do, whatever. So like I didn't even know what like honestly what Mexican was. I knew the language Spanish and that was it. And then like but like you didn't know different races, different nationalities.
Well, I mean, I we moved to Pennsylvania. We moved to Pennsylvania when I was like 6 or 7. I was in second grade,
Yeah.
and I remember the way racism was introduced to me was because I was the only black kid in my school. Like in our town, we were the black people, like my family and I. So I remember one year in second grade, I had friends,
Yeah.
and then the next year I did not.
Jesus Christ.
And these piece of shit parents, they like saw me in the school and they like taught their kids like not to like me. Like
Yeah,
I remember there was this girl, and it's ironic how it ended up turning out because the place we lived is it's very like rednecky backwoodsy. And even going back now, I did a show in August in town.
In Pennsylvania, right?
In Pennsylvania, and the energy was just different than any other place I had been. Like went back, and the energy was like tense.
Yeah.
And you could tell like when people saw me, they didn't expect me. I mean, some towns it's like that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like sometimes they do that little like jump where they see you.
Oh.
Yeah, they do that little jump.
Oh.
Like,
oh my.
Like they,
you are different.
Yeah. Like they don't think you see it, but
Yeah.
they're just like. So that's the type of time
they start
doing
doing like,
Yeah.
oh, excuse me.
They're like, oh, I think it's time to leave this Dollar General. You're just like, well, you're just like, what the fuck? Like,
let's go to Costco where it's safe.
they don't even have Costco. That place is they have.
You need a membership to get in. Oh,
In
man.
those places, they have Sam's Club.
Yeah, it's fine.
Sam's
Club's this is super off topic, but it's just like whenever I go to Sam's Club, I feel like less of a piece of shit than when I go to Costco. Because I'm like, Sam's Club, it's like, okay, I'm gonna buy stuff in bulk calmly, and it's like, when you're at Costco, it's like it's always the end of the world. Like,
Yeah.
Like things are flying off the shelves for no reason. I'm like, how much toilet paper do you need? How dirty is your butt? Like,
I use a lot of toilet paper. I don't shop at Costco though.
You don't buy the bulk size.
No, I think we buy bulk toilet paper.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, a clean person uses a lot of toilet paper.
Yeah, but it's also like I shit like once a day. So I'm like, I don't.
Well, I always try to take a shit at home because I could shower afterwards.
Yeah.
Because the worst thing is when you're out. I'm sorry, but like, you have to get like real nice, like the real nice toilet paper is expensive.
Yeah.
Because the
It's not worth it.
the dust, because toilet paper has like fucking like particles and dust on it.
I really hate the quilted like toilet paper shit because it's like the plies are like this thick and I'm like I can't just stick a brick in my ass like it's
Well, I mean, but on the other hand,
like it's soft but it's not clean enough.
on the other hand, it is better than having an itchy butthole because the other like you'll wipe, but like
Yeah, but
it's like part it's
I don't-
irritable. Is that irritable?
Irritable.
It irritates the butthole.
And then you get like you just keep wiping, it starts getting more and more red.
Yeah, you're just and then you
Oops.
think and then you think you're fine, and then you go about doing your day, and then you start sweating, and then your butthole itches, and you're just like,
And you're like, I gotta go to the bathroom.
yeah, you're like, I can't just scratch my butthole. That's why I think we need to bring more bidets.
This is why I think we should end butthole itching stigma.
Yeah, because you need to get up and that's why like I take a shit and then I like take a shower afterwards. That's
Yeah.
what I try to do.
That's the best. You know what's the worst? When you shower and then you shit. You're like, all right.
Yeah,
You're like, I want you to go kill
because
myself.
your butthole your butt's still wet.
And then like there's like it's like slick from like the body wash and shit. And you're like you shit just flies out of your ass like a torpedo.
Yeah, and it gets messy. You have to take it to the shower.
So race.
You need that. Yeah. No, so
The thing about race is that everybody's shit is brown.
Yes.
So let's all come together.
everyone's shit is brown.
It's all come together and shit together.
I remember we lived in the weird, again, only black people in town, but we lived in this real nice neighborhood. Like, my family did well financially. Like, we lived in a town of, like, poor white trash. We were, like, rich in a poor white trash town.
So you're like, this is a really weird comparison, but you're like Token's family in South Park?
Yes.
You're like the rich black family and everyone else is poor white people?
like, my dad made right choices in his life. Like, my father made correct choices growing up. And he worked in, like, he was we moved there because my dad worked for International Paper / Hammer Mill.
Yeah.
He worked at a plant in Mobile. And then we moved to Erie, Pennsylvania, and then we moved to Williamsport, Pennsylvania, and he was, like, a manager. Like, my dad invented, like, a machine that they use and, like, got a patent on it.
Really?
And then he became, like, the chemical manager, and he was, like, a manager at the plant in Williamsport, right?
That's insane.
So, and we had a house, like,
I built this place
in a cul-de-sac, like, out in the middle of fucking, like, no, like, everyone else was, like, a trailer park and stuff, but we lived in, like, a development.
Yeah.
Right?
It's like we're living in model homes.
Yeah, we lived in a fucking development.
Like, there's still construction going on. That's how.
And I remember I was hanging out with the kids in the neighborhood, and there was this one mother that was racist. Yeah. Like, me and her son went to the same school, and we would, like, ride bikes and stuff together. But she wouldn't let me in the house.
There's nothing white people hate more than successful black people.
Well, racist white people.
Racist, that's what I mean, yeah.
Like,
there's nothing racist hate more
than
successful
black people. And like, what type of piece of shit are you where you look at a little black kid?
Yeah.
Like, you look at a child.
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't want this around.
Yeah.
Like, how
it's dangerous.
How is it? How do you lose, like, a lack of empathy? And then how do you think that affects, like, the kid?
Yeah.
Because it's not like
they don't care.
I mean, that's the thing. It's like, how can you just go through life just not caring? You know what I mean? So
racism.
So yeah, and then she accused me of, like, one time she accused me of pushing her daughter down a slide when I was standing on the other side of a swing set.
Yeah.
Like, I was hanging from a swing set. Her daughter went down the slide.
Yeah.
Then she called her kids up and she said that I couldn't play with them and I was like, that doesn't make any sense. So, eventually what happened is everyone grew up, and now her son is now dating a black girl. I looked him up on Facebook. He's now dating a black girl, and his mother is not in any of his pictures on Facebook.
Yeah, he probably told her to go fuck herself.
Which I have to say is very... I give it up for the class, for my graduating class. I give it up to them because a lot of them progressed.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of them progressed past... And I think you have to go through something like that to realize that it's wrong.
Yeah. I really think those are the real progressive people. Is people that flip the switch. Because
everyone knew that the town we lived in was racist because that was the old generation.
Yeah.
So the new generation grew up and we're just like, there was a few that kind of stayed whatever, but I mean, a lot of them were like...
There's people that I know here that, like, they drive around big shitty trucks and then they fly, like, Confederate flags. I'm like, you're in California.
That doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, it doesn't.
That's what they did in Pennsylvania. Like, in Pennsylvania, they used to fly Confederate flags, but it's like, wait a minute. You guys know that you won the war, right?
Yeah.
Like, what was the last time?
I don't understand. Like, they're like, states that were part of the Union have, like, Confederate flags.
A lot of people that sell Confederate flags. And they're just like,
what are you doing?
They're just like, we're rebels. Bitch, you
are banging your sister.
You're in Pennsylvania. Like, what do you mean you're you can be a rebel, like, on Star Wars. You can be a part of the Rebel Alliance.
That's fine. They were good guys.
Fly the Rebel Alliance from Star Wars. Fly that flag.
That'd be way cooler.
You don't have to fly the fucking Confederate flag, you dumb bitch.
And like, I hate when it's like they'll say, like, dumbass shit like, it's part of my heritage. What, oppressing people? Yep. They're like, yeah, good. They were fighting against a tyrannical government, and it's like, why? Because they're taking away their people? Yeah. Yeah, sorry, you can't own people anymore. It's like, we wanna. It's like, well, you can't.
I'm willing to kill the other half of the country so that I can continue owning people.
It's so dumb. I'm like, You will? Oh man! And then like they'll say, they're like, "I'm not racist." I'm like, "Yeah, you are."
Well, it was a
Yeah, you
confusing
are.
time for me because I was in school when Eminem came out in '99.
Yeah.
So like a lot of like I talk like this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And my parents made me wear like sweaters and shit to school. Like I wasn't able to wear like
Wear bow ties and sweaters.
yeah, bow ties. That's like
Yeah.
the way you see me now is how I have always dressed. Like this is not an act.
Yeah. It's just me.
Yeah, it's who I am. Like
It's who
I'm not
I be, boy.
I don't wear ties and bow ties on stage because I'm trying to make a statement. It's like this is
It's
how
like,
I feel.
I'm just a very, very
I'm very proper.
organized guy.
Yeah, I'm very proper.
Oh man, it's yeah.
But like kids would come up to me, they're like, "Yo, I'm like blacker than you now," because like Eminem gave him that street cred.
I'm like, you know what? Eminem's still white.
well, I mean, and it's like then they discovered Dr. Dre
Yeah.
and Jay-Z from all that shit, and then they were flying Confederate flags off their trucks and blasting Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg.
I'm like, you are backwards as hell.
It was very confusing for me.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? I was gonna make that joke when we were at Fathers. I'm like, all these white people in here are like the same people that listen to Lil Wayne and then like say the N word at somebody. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, you are so backwards.
Lil Wayne's fan base is ridiculously white.
They're
Like
they're all white. None of them. There's no black Lil Wayne fans.
I went to a Lil Wayne concert once in Florida.
It's all white people.
And the only black people that was there was me and Lil Wayne. Like it was, like it was interesting. I was like, this is interesting.
I'm like, I'm not very comfortable right now. And you're in Florida too, where there's like 4 teeth.
14th amongst the whole crowd.
Like Florida's population is nothing but like old Jewish people and then like young pieces of shit. Like it's so weird.
But yeah,
Everyone's on meth or bath salts. They're wrangling gators.
but then you go to the other side of the coin,
Which is what?
politically speaking. This is the weirdest time to be black in America. Like right now.
Other than like the 1850s.
Other than you know 1640 1640 up to 1975.
It's like for the past like 30 years, it's been like, whatever, like same old,
And
same
it
old.
still hasn't gotten good. Like,
No, nothing's. It's never. People think like there's two people that are like racism is like the worst it's ever been, which it isn't. But then people are like it's racism's gone. It's like no, it's not.
no, the thing about racism now.
It's very middle.
The thing about racism now, at least back then, like you knew because
Yeah,
back
you
then
knew,
people that like the Ku Klux Klan was out.
People hide it now.
People are getting people were getting lynched and stuff. You're like, oh shit, like this is racism.
Yeah.
But now it's
The
like
proper word to call a black person was the N word.
it's like the subtlety of racism now is
like at the bar.
well, yeah,
Doesn't matter.
because the thing about it is people do stuff and their body language changes and stuff, but they do it in the way that you can't call them out. Because the only way that people get called out for things
is if they say a slur.
Is if there's like undeniable proof.
Yeah.
So it's like people will go short of.
Well, even not that, but it's like and people will still like they'll call someone racist even if there's no proof.
Yeah.
Like people but those are like the same like crazy people that don't like they don't even go along with like due process. It's just like you're guilty because I said you're guilty.
Well, I mean, and that's the thing that's going on now with a lot of these like people that are fighting isms.
Yeah.
Like racism and sexism and stuff. A lot of these people haven't really grown up like the way I grew up.
Yeah.
Like the kids I grew up with, they're like racism's wrong because we've been literally looking, and it was because I moved into the school.
Yeah.
Like in any other circumstance, they probably would not have noticed it, but I became very vocal. As a matter of fact, that's how I started doing stand-up. I was 15 when I started doing stand-up in high school because of racism.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, I have something to say, and I don't know how I'm going to say it, but I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And there was a talent show that came up. I signed up, and I got on stage. I told some jokes. I didn't just let them know I was funny, and then I went and said what I wanted to say at the end.
Yeah.
So, like, after that, like, a lot of kids that ended up knowing me, they told me stories. They're like, oh, yeah, my grandmother didn't like you because you were black and this and that and blah, blah. And I'm like, who has the time? Who has the time to just hate a little kid? And
Old white people.
and
Old white racists.
Well, I mean, it's the what I'm getting annoyed with now is the isms. Like racism is like the last ism that people care about.
Yeah.
Because
sexism too.
everything else is like the sexism and the phobias and all that stuff. It's overtaking racism. So racism is kind of like at the bottom of the totem pole. So with a lot of stuff that's going on now is a lot of people that are involved in these movements act racist, but because they're supporting the oppression of another group, they feel that they don't have to address the racism. Yeah. Like in the LGBT community, like black LGBT people are still fighting racism like within the LGBT.
Yeah, there's a lot of racism in that community too.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it can be because, well, first of all,
people think that if you're a minority of any sort or you're a part of a marginalized group, you can't do any wrong.
No, that's bullshit.
Yeah, everyone, like I said, like one of my many sayings is that I say all the time is that nobody's exempt from being a piece of shit. Yeah. Like if you're, no matter what you are, what you do, whatever the fuck, where you come from, you can be an asshole, and just because you're black, you're white, you're Hispanic, you're gay, you just anything you are, you could still be a piece of shit.
Because and that's essentially what's happening. Like, okay, so one time I was in the club and there was a white transgender girl there.
Yeah, we were there.
And she said the N-word. It was like Black History Month.
Yeah.
And she said the N-word. And the reason was because
she was white, I think.
And the reason is because she used to go out with black dudes.
Yeah.
So she thought it was okay to say like the N-word.
Yeah.
And I was like, you can't say that. But then at the same time, I felt like my hands were tied because I know the stigma of the black community and the LGBT community.
Yeah.
The stigma is that we don't get along.
Yeah.
Which is now like a new movement now. It's a new movement with, with black LGBT and stuff. They're trying to combat the homophobia that's within the black community as well as the racism that they deal with from other people. And I mean, that's essentially what happened with like Kevin Hart.
Which part?
Kevin, like when Kevin Hart got the with the Oscars.
Yeah, because of all his dumb jokes. I mean, I didn't care. Like, you know what I mean? Like, who cares? Like, a joke's a joke. If it's bad, then you don't laugh. That's pretty much all you can do with a joke.
Well,
if it's bad, and it's like, yeah, the jokes he posted were bad, but they're also from like 10 years ago. I'm
not gonna condone what he said.
Yeah, it was dumb. It was a dumb joke.
However, I think we need to be careful of the mob mentality, and that's essentially what I want to talk about.
Well, yeah, it's like everything's. It's like modern, like figurative lynch mob.
Because like I've had this saying where I've said, I like safe spaces when they were called segregation.
Yeah.
Because and that's what you have to be careful of, because let's be honest, people only care about what they care about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? People only care about what they care about. So they see what's in front of their hands and that's what they want to focus on. But remember, if you point your finger at someone else, you have three fingers pointing back at you, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not condoning what the Kevin Hart thing is, but it's like, how come comedians
like turn their back on him?
Well, it's like, it's this mob mentality. How come comedians are now held at a higher standard than the president of the United States?
Well, it's the
and why, and also another thing too is you waited until he got the biggest gig.
Yeah, and then you dug some stuff up.
And then you go through 40,000 tweets 10 years ago to find these tweets, and then he apologizes again.
Yeah.
So the tweets come out, he apologizes, he steps away from the job.
Yeah.
He's done with the job. He's not doing the Oscars.
Yeah.
He apologizes again after he steps down.
Yeah.
But it's still not good enough, because Don Lemon comes on and he's like, you know what, Kevin, you need to talk to me, the stigma, blah, 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 and all this stuff and everything. And then Kevin comes out again and he apologizes. But the gangster thing about, like, what Kevin did, because this is how Hollywood works.
Yeah.
the Hollywood machine is different from like everyone else. Like you have to keep in mind that
Hollywood sucks.
like on the East Coast and on the West Coast, this is a big deal, but to everyone else in the world, it's not.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is that the biggest voices are on the East and the West Coast.
Yeah,
'Cause
so
that's where the most people are.
So what Kevin did was he's built up an empire. He's built up an empire where he doesn't need anyone's approval to be successful, right?
Yeah.
So and now it's essentially starting to backfire because now what's happening is he said, "Okay, I apologize. I'm not going to apologize anymore." Right? He goes into Ellen. Ellen says, "You know what? I want you to do the Oscars. I forgive you." And then now the same people that are accusing Kevin are now going after Ellen. Well, we don't need you to speak for us and this and that and blah 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 and all that stuff and everything. And we're gonna. So Kevin, he's just like, look, I don't know like what the plan was. I don't know if it was supposed to like bring him down or whatever. But his movie that opened this past weekend opened at number 1.
Did it?
Yeah.
We got really bad reviews.
Well, it doesn't matter. It's like I guess any publicity is good publicity, even if it's bad. But I mean, it's like you think about that. You think about the mob mentality of, well, he said this one, so I'm going to take him down. But then when you see it, when you see it backfire, then you see the flaws in the execution.
Yeah, but a lot of the same people that are like digging up things are like the same people that support the president, and it's like you realize that like you're supporting the dude. They're all just everyone's hypocrites.
Well,
Everyone's
I mean, there's a difference in like I think some people just don't like people. They just don't like certain people.
I hate everybody.
So they try to go after those people.
Yeah.
For some reason. I mean, I'm not.
It's not racist if you don't like anybody.
That's hacky.
And it's just like people just want to take down people if they don't like them. They don't want to see him succeed at all, and it's just like you want to like find anything. Like he said this once. Yeah. One time when he was in 3rd grade, he pushed the girl on the ground and he laughed at her. And it's like, whoa.
Well, it's like
what do you like?
I'm nobody, and I have to like go and check my tweets. That's why I only post about shows and stuff. I don't know. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the hard thing about being black right now is because being black in America, we've always been under the microscope for hundreds of years, for centuries.
Yeah.
Now it's almost like we don't get the same benefit of the doubt that other people get. We don't get the same benefit of the doubt that other people get. And as like a black man as well black people in general, black women especially, black people, we are judged based on our interest.
Yeah. Like
the things that we're interested in. Like if I don't listen to hip hop, I'm not black enough.
Yeah.
And if
for some reason you listen to jazz, you're whiter.
Yeah, or if I like the Dave Matthews Band, I'm white or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like you have to be black to be accepted by black people.
Yeah, and it's like if I'm not a Democrat.
Yeah, it's like
then all of a sudden I'm like, since when did black people give a fuck about politics?
Yeah, I thought black people did they hated all politicians. Like that was like a whole thing. It's nobody supports.
I mean, Obama got us interested in it again.
Yeah,
but I mean, it's like oh, so I have to be a Democrat?
Yeah, it's like why?
And then it's like if you're a Republican, it's like now all of a sudden it's like
what if Ben Carson was the first like black president?
Yeah, like people and the thing about
people wouldn't like it. It would be weird.
The thing about like the black community right now is our number is being called all the time, and essentially we're being turned on each other by the media.
Yeah,
because it's like if you choose to have a different opinion, then all of a sudden we're canceling everybody. Like on Black Twitter, we're canceling everybody. We're canceling this black person. We're canceling this person. And it's like the thing about like when Kanye West, the Kanye West thing. That was
like his like Trump supporting stuff or what?
Yeah, I mean the thing about it is
that was weird.
He didn't. It was weird, but you have to keep in mind. Hold on, I have to answer this text real quick.
Yeah, go ahead. Like that was just like it was just really weird. Like it wasn't like like I don't care. Like I don't whatever. You can support, do it. Just be a good person and it's fine.
No, this is the thing about the Kanye West thing. Kanye West didn't vote. Okay?
Yeah.
He didn't vote. he never really. I don't think he really ever got counseling for after his mother's death. Now, the thing you have to keep in mind about what makes his mother's death interesting is that he paid for the plastic surgery that she had complications from that ultimately killed her.
Yeah.
So you don't know like what is going on in his head mentally.
Oh, you know, he's probably going insane.
He feels guilty.
Yeah, are you kidding me? I mean.
And he's also with the Kardashians too.
Yeah, they drive people insane.
Yeah. They ruin great black men. Just all of them, just ruin great black men. So he's that. So he didn't vote, but Trump became president. So he says, you know what? I support Trump because for whatever reason he supported Trump. Right? You know what? That's his choice. This is America. He can choose whatever he wants to do. Yeah. Right? Do I agree with it? Maybe, probably not. But I'm not gonna get in his ass about it.
Yeah, like no one, like what does it matter?
But what bothered me the most was
like the fact that he supported Trump. People want to like take him down.
What bothered me
just because he did that. It's like, who gives a shit?
What bothered me? Yeah, people like black people were like, oh, we gotta cancel Kanye. No, he still made good music. I mean, his last album was trash, but I mean, he still made good music. We need to cancel him out. What?
It's like, why? Did he?
How many things am I supposed to boycott?
Did he kill somebody? Did he rape somebody?
2 years ago, I was supposed to boycott the NFL.
Why?
Then Monique wanted me to boycott Netflix.
Why?
and then now I'm supposed to, like, come on now.
The only thing I want to boycott Netflix for is to remove the fucking "Are you still watching" feature. So yes, I'm still watching, motherfucker. What do you think I'm doing? It is 3 a.m.
I mean, my eyes are still open a little bit, but still closed. But what bothered me the most. This is what bothered me the most. Yeah. When white people started complaining about Kanye West. For some reason, that irked me so much.
Yeah.
Because white people were like, well, Kanye West is supporting Trump. But I'm like, you don't get a chance. This is how I felt. You can agree with me if you want to or not. But I was like, you don't get a chance to comment on who Kanye West should support. Because it's not Kanye's fault that this man is in the White House.
That's true. He didn't vote.
He's dealing with. You need to go talk to your people, because he's dealing with what your people did.
Yeah.
Like, if you're gonna hold Kanye and all of us accountable for like stuff we do, you have to be accountable too.
No one wants accountability. Everybody nowadays wants to point the finger, and they want to say this person's bad, this person's the reason. Like. And no one wants to realize that this is exactly what like Hitler did, and it's like.
But initially, but again, it comes down the line again. First, we're supposed to cancel out Kanye West. Now we're supposed to cancel out Kevin Hart.
Yeah, I mean.
Now we're supposed to like it's like how it's like we're just gonna start canceling out like all these people. And the thing about it is like I don't think we can. And what frustrates me is I don't think we can make up our minds.
Yeah.
We can't make up our minds because you know, like for example, the R. Kelly thing just came out, right?
Yeah, well, R. Kelly's a piece of shit. So
like, we've been talking about R. Kelly for decades. We've been talking about R. Kelly for years.
I think so did he do something else recently, or is it just the stuff from the past?
This is okay. R. Kelly has been having young girlfriends.
Yeah, he's been raping and peeing on chicks.
He's been holding girls. He's been holding black girls. In his basement.
Yeah.
Supposedly they willingly went. But we've been talking about this for years.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now you have to have a Lifetime special come out to some people. And it's fucked up because now, like, I was on Facebook and it was like, there's still people that support this motherfucker.
Yeah, it's weird.
There's women that support them. They're like, oh, I don't give a fuck. Like, I remember this one woman, she was like, I don't give a fuck, y'all knew it was this. I'm going to still listen to this music. And someone was like, well, you know, this is traumatic and so she's like, well, I don't give a fuck what you think. I'm still going to be doing the 2-step, the love slide and all that. And I was just like, God damn, like, we can't even agree on this?
No one can agree on anything. No one can agree on anything. If you're a piece of shit human being.
Well, he's like, people are like, well, the women chose. Really? Did they?
Think about this. Have you ever seen those people that, like, have sexual attractions to serial killers?
Yes.
Yeah. So I don't question anything anymore.
Yeah, there's people that have Stockholm syndrome. There's people that
no, it's like people like that are like my age, and they'll like post pictures on Instagram like, oh my god, Jeffrey Dahmer's so fucking hot, and I'm like, it's too bad he was gay. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Too bad he ate people.
And there are people that are attracted to older significant others as well.
Or the people that are like sexually attracted to Charles Manson and shit. It's fucking weird.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's none of this is like as a justification, but I mean, there's so much nuance in like people's personalities and stuff
People are insane.
that people are insane in general. You really can't put your finger on it to say, well, this is wrong and this is right. But I'm just surprised that when it came out that people were being
like supporting him.
people are just supporting him because he makes good music. What the fuck?
But that's like if like, for some reason I don't know why people think that's okay. But like think about it for like if when the Kevin Spacey shit came out, people were still like, we're gonna binge watch all his movies and be like, fuck you guys.
I mean, the thing about it is that's why I have to call out Hollywood though, because right now we're talking about R. Kelly. But last week they just handed the Golden Globe to a Best Picture that was directed by like a alleged pedophile.
Yeah. And then Kobe got an Oscar.
Yeah, like so it's like what it's like who
Here's my thing is that if you were gonna rape somebody, you had to do it like in the early 2000s because no one cared. And like like
I don't know.
Like back then, like if it came out that you like sexually assaulted somebody, it would go on for a week, and they'd be like, "All right, ready to go back on the court." It's like, what do you mean? It's like all you have to do is change your number from 8 to 24, and then you win a few championships, and that's it. You're good.
Yeah.
You're cleared, and then you get an Oscar for a short film that sucked.
Well, basically, the one thing that we're going to learn from all of this is that no one is exempt from being an asshole.
Yes.
So.
And honestly, it's ugh.
All right. We're out of time. I don't know if this podcast was meaningful whatsoever.
We had a whole segment where we talked about shit.
Yeah.
And Costco toilet paper.
You got anything coming up, Andrew?
Fucking school. That shit's gonna suck.
That's not what I was talking about.
I know. I don't got shit coming up.
But all right. Well, thank you for listening in on this episode of Dangerously Awkward. I might have Andrew back. I don't know. I think I might need to get like a co-host.
All right.
Leave comments below or something to let me know whether I should bring Andrew back.
Email Kenan personally.
If by time this comes out, it's going to be close. It's going to be the 18th of January. I'm going to be in San Francisco all weekend, but I have a show at Trademark and Copyright in San Francisco. You can go to my website to check out tickets. www.KenanJeromeFloyd.com/shows. Again, you can follow me on Instagram at Dangerously Awkward. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel, KJF Network. You could also check us out on Google Play, Spotify, SoundCloud, and all that good stuff. Until next time, y'all have a good weekend.
Buy bulk toilet paper.